Here is everything you need to know about the new Elderclaw, from how to tame it to all of its abilities. And it has a lot of abilities. This might be one of the creatures with the most abilities in the game. It is pretty damn crazy. First thing I want to point out is you do need to have the Lost Colony DLC to be able to use it, but personally, I think it's worth it because it is pretty badass. So to start off by taming them, you got to find one out in the wild. They aren't spawning in single player at the moment, so I presume based on the trailer that they mainly spawn in the redwoods. Quick update on their spawn. So I have done a little bit more searching, and they do spawn in the redwoods from what I've found, and they are quite rare though. So I only found about 3 or 4 spread out across the entire redwoods, so they are not easy to find. Oh, and they also spawn as babies with the parents, and you can claim those babies as a much easier way to get yourself a nice little forest bear. Anyways, you have to kill it first off, and when you do kill them, they drop a little seed, which is almost like their version of an egg. So now that you have the seed, you have to plant it in a large crop pot inside of a greenhouse. I've tried a medium crop plot, they don't fit, and I've tried it outside of the greenhouse effect. If it doesn't have a greenhouse effect, it won't grow at all. So you need to have a greenhouse, and you need to have a large crop plot for this to work at all. So like the egg incubator, you can actually see its stats and color regions and its parents from the little bud in the ground, which is pretty damn cool. So you don't actually have to go through this whole process of like raising it up, which is very, very long and very tedious. I'm just going to point that out right now. Good tip, if you till the soil with a shovel, it will actually speed up the process by a little bit. It does give a growth bonus of 30%. I'm not sure if it actually is a 30% increase to how quick it is, but it does help, I did notice. So one of the first things you'll notice with it is it says time to tend, and this is sort of like an imprint for the plant. It has a list of things that you need to give it, sort of like imprint food. The 6 things that you'll need are biotoxin, ammonite bile, black pearls, honey, leech blood, and sap. I would suggest having 10 to 20 of each, as this process can take a long time, especially if you're taming a high level. So you'll wait for the time to tend thing to go down to 0, and then you'll have 5 minutes to feed it, or you'll lose taming effectiveness. This is essentially where you gain all the taming effectiveness that you normally get from a tame. If you don't give it anything, you can still get the baby, but it would be like taming it with 0% taming effectiveness, so no extra levels. However, the benefit to doing all the taming effectiveness is it comes out at max possible levels. If you don't mess up, it won't lose any levels, which is one of the few creatures that actually can do that. And once you feed it enough, you'll see that little time to tend thing, it disappears, and then it will go to the next stage, which is middling, and you'll see it visually gets a lot brighter and bigger. A glitch I have been noticing is that every time it would go to the next stage, the tending requirement would go into negative time and then ask for multiple things in a row, and it increased with each stage. I don't know if this is a glitch or if this is intended and the timer's just glitched out, but just be wary of that. And once you feed it enough in a midling, it'll go to a growthling. Then finally, it'll turn into a fruitling, and you'll know it's done when it's like a big egg surrounded by a cage of vines. And at that point, you can hit harvest, and out pops your little Elderclaw. Now you got the hard part done. They just raise up normally, just like any bear. They are omnivores, so they'll eat berries, raw meat, nothing special. So now you have your fully grown up and hopefully imprinted Elderclaw. It's got a lot of abilities that I have to go through.
So to start out, its left click is a bite when you're running that does decent damage, and a swipe when you're not running, which actually does slightly more damage. So you do more damage if you're standing still.
Its secondary ability is a right click, which is a big lunge attack where you lunge forward, decent damage. It actually goes pretty far. It does have a relatively short cooldown, so you can sort of spam it, but it uses a lot of stamina. The next ability it has is a underground vine snare. It shoots a big vine underground that hits anything. It'll trap them for a few seconds. It doesn't do any damage, but it's a great tool for stopping something. So the next ability it's got is a vine shield. So when you do this, he'll grow vines all over his body, and he'll take reduced damage to everything at the cost of it'll slowly drain his food over time. A bit similar to the way Daedon drains food when healing, except it drains way slower and is very manageable, and it doesn't have a cooldown as long as it's up. When you take it off, there's a short cooldown, but it's very, very short. And now we have the main ability. This is probably, no, not probably. This is the coolest ability a creature has ever gotten. It is the most intricate and very powerful. So what it does is it puts this little bear totem down, which creates an area of effect where all allied creatures within this totem get increased melee damage, while all enemies within it actually do less damage. So while you're within this totem, you'll see a damage, or you'll see a number on the damage buff. So each time you hit something or get a kill, it'll go up. So each hit goes up by 1, and each kill goes up by a decent amount depending on the creature you kill. The totem does not last forever. It does have a cooldown. You can see above here in the ability bar, you can see it slowly draining down. So as you deal damage to creatures, you'll see the bear totem starts pulsing more and more. And then once you hit 100 on the counter, it'll go up on its hind legs and turn green from the blue that it is. So at this point, it's ready to explode. And when you do that, it's very cool. So you hold down the button you use to place it. It gathers in all the energy and explodes, dealing massive damage to any creature surrounding you, but also healing any allies within the area, including yourself. Oh, yeah, and I forgot to mention, it turns you into a Hulk. You just grow like double your size. And during this enhanced mode, it lasts for different times, no matter, or depending on how much numbers are on the damage counter in the totem. So first one, slightly over 130 seconds of this enhanced mode, where you're bigger, but also all your attacks have a special little extra ability. For example, your swipes hit twice. There's like a little green ghost claw that comes out with you, so it will basically hit for double the damage. Your vine, underground vine, it is much bigger and it lasts for way longer. Finally, your lunge attack, it gives a bit of vine on impact, which I think either slows or very temporarily stops, but it's very short. And you'll notice the vines turn blue in this mode. And despite all of that, I am not done yet. So you can charge the totem up. 100 is the base where you can go big and go Hulk out on everybody. But the max is 200. 200, you do go the same size, but I've noticed that you go a lot stronger. Oh, also the explosion damage, and I'm assuming the heals, even though I didn't really test that, is a lot more powerful the more you charge it. So you want to hit 200 ideally, even though that is quite. When it comes to breeding these guys, they are, unfortunately, it's a very similar way to the way you tame it. So you breed it, they drop out a seed, just like the egg you get from killing a wild one. Luckily, you don't actually have to do the imprinting thing with the seed itself, like the 6 different resources. You don't need to do that. It's basically just a crop at that point, so you just have to wait for it to fully mature and grow up, and then you'll get your Elderclaw from it. That is a very tedious process if you're trying to mass breed them, maybe get some mutations. I'm assuming it is still possible. I did not check that because I don't have that kind of patience, but they also are pretty damn good harvesters. They're right-click harvest wood from trees. As well as you hit bushes, you'll get berries and fiber, which is nice. Its little vine attack when you hit a tree actually just gives you almost entirely thatch. So you can harvest wood, thatch, berries, fiber, basically anything you need. And the final thing, and this one is probably its most confusing ability that I still don't have a whole big handle, but I think I've basically got down what it does. So essentially, if you access their menu, they have a special little thing like a gotcha that says Corpse Blossom Resource. So it doesn't explain it at all. It's the 6 resources that you use to imprint it, essentially. And essentially what it does is whenever you use your totem and you kill something, there is a chance for a flower to spawn. And there's 2 types of flowers that can spawn that I've noticed. One is just kind of a blue flower that when you run into it, it just kind of disappears. It doesn't seem to do anything. I'm not entirely sure if that's a glitch or not, or if it's supposed to give you the resource. The other one is this bigger blue flower that will actually stay there, and you can go up to it and it will give you whatever resource you have it set to. But it only gives you 1 or 2. And from when I was testing it, I was killing a ton of things, and it would give me I was killing 30 compies at once, and it would give me 2 sap for it, if I'm lucky. So it's not exactly reliable. I don't know if there's something else to it that I'm missing, or if there's a glitch with it that's not allowing you to get as much as you should. I would mostly ignore that for now because it doesn't seem to actually really do much. A little extra way to get any of these resources, I guess, is nice. One last thing I forgot to mention. It doesn't have a saddle, but it does have a natural armor like a Shadow Mane or a Fenrir. That does go up with the level. I don't know if there is a limit. The highest I was able to see, I didn't test the limits of this, but the highest I see was a level 366 that has 65 armor masterclass. That is it for the Elderclaw. If there's anything I missed with this very complex creature, let me know in the comments. Go tame yourself some giant forest bears.